I'm ready, sorry. All right. Patrick Ritter discloses in a 2011 online article that over 53% of college students will drop out of college during their first try at college. These reasons could be from lack of finances, they were unprepared, the school or their study choice was an ill fit for them. All of these actions and things that are causing students to drop out of school can be easily combated with something called universal national service or universal mandated service. I am in favor of young people participating in a year or 2 years of universal national service in order to decrease our college dropout rates, increase civic responsibility, social awareness, and interest in politics and community actions. Today I'll be discussing with you what universal national service is, why it should be mandated, how it looks in our country, how it looks in other countries, and as well as the positive effects it could have on us all here and around the globe. So what would it look like in our country? A lot of times people don't even understand what universal national service is. So what it is people between the ages of 18 to 26, before they would attend college, would participate in volunteer service that is full-time instead of working or attending school. Now the main way you can do this in America is something called AmeriCorps, and AmeriCorps can easily be described as the domestic version of the Peace Corps. Now, AmeriCorps is all over America in major cities, so it's in cities like Orlando, New York, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, places like that. And it's expanding every year. AmeriCorps was strongly backed by President Bill Clinton, and it started during his presidency. It now reaches 900,000 members with over 102 billion hours of service completed. However, AmeriCorps is an umbrella term. Umbrella term meaning there is smaller programs within AmeriCorps. There's three main ones. The main ones are NCCC, VISTA, and City Year. NCCC is based on the belief that civic responsibility is an inherent duty of all citizens, and that national service programs should work effectively with local communities to address the pressing needs. And this is according to the nationalservice.gov website. VISTA members are passionate and committed to bridging the gap between social disparities. And lastly, according to the cityyear.gov website, City Year works to bridge the gap in high poverty communities between the support of what students actually need and what their schools are designed to give them meaningful resources. People who complete years with AmeriCorps will be more competitive in college pools and the fierce job markets. Now, they'll be more competitive in the college pools, meaning the schools will look at these people as someone who has given their time and their dedication to something bigger than themselves. They'll also stand out with stronger communication skills and leadership standards. This also will give them added financial aid, means that AmeriCorps donates $4,000 to each time you complete a service year. Unfortunately, not everyone sees AmeriCorps and Universal National Service as a positive note. Some people really witness it as a new instance of the draft by making our young people take time out of their future to be in something else rather than working or just going right to college. David Fazekas, in a June 2014 blog post on yahoo.com, states that keep in mind, mandatory service means plucking the nation's youth, all 18 to 25-year-olds, out of the economy. And that's 35 million people, that's 35 million of our people pushing dirt instead of pushing buttons on a cash register. Yes, even though that would mean we would lose a lot of our young people who do participate in these minimum wage jobs, it would mean, though, that we would in the future have more socially accepting citizens and people who are more aware of their surroundings concerning politics and future endeavors. Which raises the question, Mr. Fazekas, do we want to have more people who can push the cash register, or do we want to have more people who are more aware of their surroundings and can really benefit our society? Next, I will be talking with you about how universal national service looks in other countries. In Switzerland, they have a program called Zivildienst, and it's translated verbatim to civilian service. Switzerland has been using this since 1996, and it's used as an alternative to their mandated service that they do anyway, like when men turn 18. Now, Zivildienst, according to worldwizzy.com, a webpage last updated in 2006, states that any man can submit an application to be part of it, and over 85 to 90% of them are accepted if you have just cause that you cannot submit in the military. Now, the Swiss men are placed in things such as healthcare, welfare, environmental acts, agriculture, research projects, and developmental assistance. And all of these positions will give them appropriate skills to help them in the future outside of their civilian service. According to the worldwizzy.com webpage, a difference between the civilian and military service in Switzerland is that they can use their work experience later. Another form of civilian service is conscription service, which is what we see in Norway. Behind me shows a slide of countries that do participate in conscription service, which is what the United States have. As you can see, we have it in the case of emergency. Unlike the Switzerland and Norway, though, women are also included in the conscription. And this just happened recently last year. The women were included to show that not everyone who can be a benefit to our military and our country is a man. And they could be women, and we need to be accessing our best roles when it comes to things such as that. Next, I will be talking with you about the benefits of mandatory service as a whole for our globe. In my opinion, people who would participate in the service would display better citizenship, social cohesion, and the strong sense of civic responsibility. Civic responsibility is a term that may be simple to some and unfamiliar to others. Civic responsibility is how aware you are of what you can do for your community. Jennifer Sell states in her paper titled Civic Responsibility, do you feel responsible for the duties and benefits awarded to you in our Constitution, and you take advantage of those duties and benefits? Lastly, many schools do teach civic responsibility as a whole, so why would we not want to teach it to our young adults who are in their prime factors of how they're going to change their generations in the future? All right, and last thing I would like to speak to you about is that everybody can serve, and universal national service is a good way to show that. Dr. Martin Luther King once said, you don't have to have a college degree to serve, you don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve, you only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love, which is very true in the aspect of AmeriCorps. You don't need to have any kind of backing or previous experience to do something like AmeriCorps. Today I spoke to you about how universal national service looks in our country, how other countries look, and how it can look in our future. So today I invite you to visit AmeriCorps.gov or speak with a local military recruiter right here on campus on Monday and Wednesday afternoons outside the cafeteria. Now, the last thing I would like to tell you is that AmeriCorps recently celebrated their 20th anniversary. And President Obama is quoted on USA Today in Daniel Jackson's September 2014 article, "You have made America stronger for what you have done." And I am a prime example of making America stronger. I donated 2 years of my life to AmeriCorps, where I taught HIV/AIDS prevention education in Washington, D.C., and I'm very proud of what I've done. I've become definitely more civically responsible and aware of my situations and work with people from cultures I never could have imagined. And I only hope that some of you one day can also share that same aspect.